Good evening. This is the time that we set aside for public comment. And as of 9:30 this morning, we had no public comment. So we will begin our meeting. This is the October 9th, 2023 meeting of the Caldwell County Board of Education. And we are called to order. We want to welcome you. We want to thank you for being here with us tonight. And we've got students and some others that we want to recognize, and I'm sure a good many of you are here for that. It's getting, we're in the fall, and the hours are going to change. It's going to start getting dark probably before we start our meetings. But anyway, it's a beautiful time of the year as the leaves change, but it's kind of hard to adjust to the time. Okay, first item on our agenda is the invocation for the board, and I want to recognize Mrs. Teresa Branch.
Let's all take a moment and think about a teacher or an educator who made a difference in our own life. Someone who saw a talent or a gift in writing, in art, in public speaking, in sports, or in math, masonry, or music. Maybe it was a teacher, maybe it was a bus driver, counselor, custodian, or that smiling face in the cafeteria. I'd like to share with you a short video that was part of a conference that I attended this past summer. It meant a lot to me, and I hope you'll enjoy it this evening.
I have a lot of memories from when I was a child. One that's always stuck out to me, though, was when I was about 10 years old, and I was in school, and I struggled. And I didn't struggle with English, math, or science. I struggled holding still. And I would try to listen and focus and process ideas, but I couldn't help myself. And to be honest, I would sit there, and then I would just start tapping, and the students in the class would look at me, and they'd say, "Hey, stop tapping." A lot of the time, I didn't even realize I was doing it. And then eventually even the teachers got after me, and they would yell at me, and they'd say, "Clint, you have to stop tapping." It got so bad that I got sent to the principal's office for tapping. And he said to me, "Okay, maybe when you go back to class, just try sitting on your hands." And so I did. I went back to class, and when I felt myself starting to tap, I did this. I sat on my hands. And that worked for about 5 seconds. One time I was tapping in class, and my teacher, Mr. Jensen, he looked at me and he yelled. And he said, "Clint, stay after class." And I thought to myself, this is it. I am done. Now, I've always been the type of person that believes that a single moment in time can change a person's life. And this was one of those moments for me, and I will never forget it. And so I was sitting there with Mr. Jensen and an empty classroom. And he walked past me and he sat next to his desk and he said, "Clint, come here. I want to talk to you." And as he looked me right in the eye, he said, "Now, I need you to know something. You're not in trouble. But I do have just one question, that I have to ask you. And he asked, he said, have you ever thought about playing the drums? And in that moment, Mr. Jensen, he leaned back and he opened the top drawer of his desk. And he reached in and he pulled out my very first pair of drumsticks. And he held them in his hands and he looked at me and he said, hey, Clint, you're not a problem. I think you're a drummer. From that moment on, I've never put those sticks down. I've toured, recorded, and played drums all over the world. My whole college education was paid for with drumsticks in my hand. Just because of a single moment in time when somebody believed in me. And he saw something in me that I didn't even see within myself. And from that moment, I learned that there's a difference between being the best in the world and being the best for the world.
Let's all please pause for a moment of silence and think of ways that we can be an encourager, that we can individually make a difference in the life of a child, a big kid, or a grown-up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Branch. That certainly is an excellent video, and very inspiring video at that. Next, we have our Pledge of Allegiance, and tonight we have a fifth grader from Valmead Elementary, Asher Crawford. Asher, if you would come up, and everyone, if you would stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Asher, for being here and leading us in the pledge tonight. Next on our agenda is the approval of the agenda, which the board's had an opportunity to review. Do I hear a motion we approve the agenda as presented?
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
I second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion passes. Next, we have our minutes, and we had two meetings in September. The work session meeting was on the 5th of September, and our regular board meeting was on the 13th of September. And the board has those minutes, has had a chance to review those. Do I hear a motion that we approve items 3B and 3C?
Chairman Penley, we approve items 3B and 3C and the work session minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion passes. Next, we have some announcements. I'd like to recognize Mr. Joe Sims.
Thank you, Chairman Pell. So I've got six that I want to go over. First thing coming up, October 20th is Professional Development Day for our staff. The second thing, on October 24th, we as a board get to do school visits, and I say we get to do, not we have to do, because that is a real joy. This month, again, on October 24th, we're going to be going to Whitnall, Valmead, to the maintenance shop, then to Lower Creek, and then to the transportation department. Because, you know, that's three schools and two of the service groups that keep our schools functioning. So very thankful for that opportunity. The third thing is a tentative. We may move our board work session to October 30th. That will be discussed later and voted on as to whether we do that. So that's not a for sure. Then Monday, November the 6th will be our next board meeting here at the Education Center. November the 7th, is another professional development day. And then November the 10th is a holiday for Veterans Day. And go ahead and say it, thank you to all of our veterans for allowing us to be able to function as a school board and as a society. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sims. Dr. Phipps, you have some additional
I have a couple
announcements?
things I want to share. First, I want to say to the public, we appreciate your patience as we continue to try to work through the traffic issues at our schools in Gamewell Elementary, Gamewell Middle School. These have been long time issues, and we're going to bring in some folks that can do contractor look at that, some engineers to be able to give us some insight on what might be possible. We know that that's a problem, and we'll continue to work on it with our resources, so we appreciate your patience. Also want to let the public know that the Board of Education has received a bid on the West Lenore property, and I want to let you know that that bid right now stands at $181,000, and we've now started the upset bid process. So if there's anyone who has an interest in making a bid, it has to come in with certain criteria around that bid that we've received, but there's a 10-day window, and we continue to receive bids that upset the current bid, and that goes on until we don't receive bids anymore. So we wanted to let the public be aware of that. You can find out more information on our website or on the Facebook page that has that information. And I failed to mention this last month, and I thought about it, and I thought rather than waiting for another year to come around, I want to mention it now. Suicide Awareness Week was mid-September, and this is a crisis situation for students and adults, not only in our school system, but in our community. And I just want to make sure that we keep that topic front and center and that it remains on our radar. We have a 988 suicide crisis line. We have ministers in local churches that are always willing to talk, and then we would certainly ask anyone who may be having those kinds of thoughts to reach out to a friend or family member, because it's such a serious deal. But let's not forget about that, and always remember that we need to provide help or point folks in the right direction if they're in that kind of a situation. And then my final piece was, I have the opportunity for the year that's going on, the actual calendar year, to work with our State Board of Education as a superintendent advisor. And there are two issues right now that are being worked on through the state board that aren't complete yet, but members of the public may have heard about them. I talked about the Parents' Bill of Rights legislation last month. We're continuing to work on that and don't have minimum requirements yet from the state board. And then the other is a law that passed just last week that surprised everyone, and it was reducing the number of required credits for high school graduation. Now, it's not in effect yet, and we're working on what that looks like, but we want to encourage our students to stay with us as long as they will and be able to get as many of those courses being college-level courses at no cost for the student. So we'll be bringing back more information, but I wanted to make sure that you heard it from me, from our board, before you heard it in the public, and it may have had different pieces that were partially true, partially not. But right now, the law goes into effect in terms of implementation in August of '24. And we're trying to work with the bill writer to get some things tweaked on that, and just wanted you to be aware.
Thank you, Dr. Phipps. Now we're moving into our honors and recognition part of the meeting tonight. And I'd like to recognize Mrs. Libby Brown, the Director of Community Services and our Public Information Officer. And the board will move down, and we'll welcome those that are awarded.
Chairman Pennell, Vice Chairman Becker, board members, and Dr. Phipps. It is always an honor and a privilege to begin our board meetings typically with honors and recognition. It's a special time for you as you love to recognize our students, and we usually start out with our Education Center Art Gallery, and it's an opportunity to spotlight the extraordinary talents of our students artistically and their extremely talented art teachers. So we are going to begin this evening with the Education Center Art Gallery, starting with William Lenore Middle School, and Dr. Ryan Cooper is principal, and Jacqueline Cahan is the art teacher. So if you'd like to come up first, Dr. help with your students as they come forward. So we know it's a busy time of year. Ashley Ann Virgo is one of our students, and you can see all around the room. It's wonderful that you can see this beautiful artwork. 8th grader, not sure if Ashley is here. Is she here? He, is he here? Yes, okay, well then come up. So let's give Ashley's mom a big round of applause. So Caitlin Klakudis, is Caitlin here? Okay. How about Mackenzie Simpson? Okay. Mom, you have to stay up here. Yeah, Mom. Hazel Hall. Hazel Hall is here. So Hazel. And then Lillian McKinley. Lillian? Okay. So we have 2 representatives. So if you want to book in those, and we'll get a picture of you. We want to get Ashley's mother and Hazel. Next we have West Caldwell High School with Dr. Todd Griffin and art teacher Dabney Smith. So I know they're both here if you want to come forward. And I know it's a busy Monday evening, isn't it? So, but you've seen the beautiful artwork in the hallway. Please come back to enjoy that. And again, we're going to spotlight each of these up here. So we see the artwork from Allison Baca Ariana. So that's a sophomore. And Dariana Jones. And I'm not sure if anyone else could make it. There's Brennan Campbell. Beautiful piece of artwork. Kylie Walker and Hannah Townsend. So, and if you haven't been to West Caldwell, Miss Smith has done a beautiful mural in the entranceway. It's just breathtaking. It's gorgeous. It's brilliant colors, and it just opens up the school. So we're very fortunate to have her talents with her students. And we have Laura Creek Elementary School. So we have Brooke Cooper and Jennifer Green. So Jennifer is the art teacher and Brooke Cooper is principal. And I know you have a couple of your students here this evening. Collins Dominique. Collins, she is not here, but Liam is here. Liam Faw is here with a big crowd supporting him tonight. So Liam is a first grader. Is it Novi or Navi? Novi. Novi Bass. Novi Bass. Okay. Carolyn Dunlap. I know Carolyn is here. Carolyn Dunlap. And we have another Brooke. Brooke Cunningham. Brooke Cunningham, second grade. And the artwork is beautiful. Yes. take pictures, we will not hurry you along. Yeah, yeah. You can get up and get to the center so you can get a good picture.
Great job.
Now we're going to turn our attention to character education. And just to give you a little bit of a review about what character education is and the character traits of the month, each month schools nominate a student who exemplifies the character trait of that month. And one is designated per month, the character trait, and then a representative is selected for the elementary, middle school, and high school levels. And tonight we're actually covering 3 months because we had some scheduling, unforeseen scheduling conflicts last school year at the very end of the school year. And so we're going to make sure that we capture that month as well. So we're doing May, and we're doing August and September. Okay. So in May, the character trait was perseverance, and this was May of last school year. These students persevered through some very difficult and challenging times in their life at a very young age. And through these difficulties, they have chosen to be positive and grateful and humble and respectful. So we are going to see if any of them made it this evening. This is from last year. Davenport A+ School was the May character education school chosen for perseverance, and Zach Walker was then. And then Ryan Buck was at Granite Falls Middle School last year. He is now at South Caldwell High School. So we tried to make sure we got the word to him. And then last year, Silas Patterson was chosen from High Brighton High School. And he is now in college. So he has really persevered. He is pushing forward. As all of these students are, but we just felt like it was worth, we knew it might be challenging to be here, but to make mention of their names, because we do appreciate them. Okay, so we're going to move on to August, and the character education trait for the month of August is determination. These students are demonstrating determination on a daily basis, whether in setting goals academically, pushing through unforeseen expected situations, or facing and overcoming obstacles. These students are focused and have a determination to succeed. So we're anxious to see these students. So for determination for the month of August, Lorelei Beard is from Collegeville School, and Amy Brawley is principal. So is Lorelei here? Yay! And for the middle school level, we have Philip Little here representing Hudson Middle School, and the student for August is Nyla Edelman. And at the high school level, Caldwell Applied Sciences Academy student Sarah Strickland was selected, and Leslie Barger for teacher. So let's get a picture of the month of August. And these are our character traits students for the month of August, and that is determination. That's right. And for the month of September, the character education trait is responsibility. These students have shown incredible acts of responsibility during the school day, demonstrating a responsible and mature demeanor and in a response to sometimes very trying situations, understanding that choices lead to consequences, showing self-control and leadership, and being motivated to push themselves to be their very best. So the representatives for the character trait of responsibility are from Whitnell Elementary School, Eric Benjamin and Chad Smith is principal. He can go. He can go. Again, from Hudson Middle School and Philip Little, here is the assistant principal. We have Harold Garcia. Congratulations. And from Gateway School with Dr. Katie Elliott as principal, we have Jacob Presswood. So Jacob is also here. And we're going to get a photo. If you all want to get in the center. Aren't they excellent models of responsibility and determination? They're all here tonight. I love it. A student, we tried to recognize him last month, and I think someone was under the weather. But this very few times has hit this student under the weather, and I'll tell you why. Last year's a fourth grader, Asher broke West Lenore Elementary record holder Haley Walker's 22 all-time national record, more than 680 miles. Asher Crawford, now fifth grader, at Valmead Elementary School, is the Marathon Kids champion. His record last spring was 776 miles. And through the Marathon Kids program, he is ranked #1 in the country. Yeah. In the nation. And Zach Morrow is principal, so get up there. I know you're proud of him.
Congratulations to each of those who received awards and recognition tonight. We are very proud of those students and all that they do, and the teachers and others who lead them daily. Now we're getting ready to go into our business session, and now would be a good time if you want to go home and eat dinner or do homework or whatever. But thanks again for being here. Okay, we'll continue on with the business part of our meeting. I'd like to call on Assistant Superintendent Andy Poole, who is standing in tonight for Dr. Bill Griffin, the Human Resource Services Assistant Superintendent. So, welcome.
All right. Good evening, Chairman Pennell, Vice Chair Becker, Dr. Phipps, and members of the board. It is my pleasure to fill in for Dr. Griffin tonight, who could not be with us. We do have 3 usual and customary human resource items. They are available for your review in board docs. Item A is simply for information, requires no action. You do have a copy of that presented before you. Item B is usual and customary actions, contracts. You do have a copy of that before you, and I respectfully ask for your approval at this time.
Do we have a motion to approve the Human Resources usual and customary action items as it relates to contracts?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion passes.
All right, thank you. Item C is usual and customary action items substitute list. We are adding another 25 substitutes to our approved list. You do have a copy of that information, and I respectfully ask your approval at this time.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the Human Resource usual and customary action items as it relates to our substitute list?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion that we approve the substitute list.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Motion passes. 25, that's a pretty good number right there. Okay, next item on our agenda is Dr. Phipps.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item deals with changes to the board meeting schedule, and I'm the reason why I'm making this request. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm doing a 1-year commitment with the State Board of Education as their superintendent advisor, and those meetings happen on the first Wednesday and Thursday of each month, and those unfortunately fall on days of some of our work sessions. And then we have a couple of other things that are going on in December. So I have 3 that I'd like to request approval on so we can get these out and let the public be aware. The first is moving our November the 1st work session to October the 30th. The second would be moving December 5th work session to December the 1st. And we need to make this move because of school improvement plan dates that have to be done before December the 4th. And so we have to find a date that we can put in the schedule before then. So it takes care of 2 items that are potential conflicts. And the third one would be moving the March 6th work session, which obviously is in 2024, to March the 4th on a Monday.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we approve these changes as Dr. Phipps has outlined those, and those meetings begin at 8 a.m.? Is there a motion to that effect?
I move that we amend our board meeting schedule as described by Dr. Hicks.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Okay, the next item is the board needs to go briefly into a closed session. Do I hear a motion that the board go into closed session to deal with personnel matters?
Chairman Pennell, I'll make a motion to go into closed session to deal with personnel matters.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We will be going into closed session for a short bit, and we will be back. There will be no action taken after our meeting. Thank you for being here. Have a good evening.